Yes, well, hello. My name is Ashley Ehrhart, and I am the current Miss National Sweetheart 2021. Yes, so I'm from Oklahoma, so I had the privilege of getting to represent my home state of Oklahoma at Miss National Sweetheart this year. Yes. So I started competing. It really all began for me when I was 13. And I started competing in Miss Oklahoma's Outstanding Teen, which is like the little sister program of the Miss America organization. So I competed at Miss Oklahoma's Outstanding Teen for 2 years. And then I graduated high school and went to school in Arkansas. So I was at Arkansas State University and I competed at Miss Arkansas for 3 years. And so I did really well there. It was a huge blessing. I placed second runner up my first year, made top 15 my second year, and top 10 my third year. And I ended up winning enough scholarship money my 3 years in Arkansas that I was able to completely pay for my schooling, which was so nice. And then I graduated and moved back home to Oklahoma, and I won a title in Oklahoma, which was Miss Oklahoma State Fair. And so I was going to compete in Miss Oklahoma in 2020, but then COVID happened. And so we had a year off. And then so I competed this summer at Miss Oklahoma. So I had technically 2 years in Oklahoma, but only got to compete for one. And then after that wrapped up, I placed third runner up there, as well as winning a few other awards. And then I competed the next month. So that was in June. So then actually a few months later, in September, I went and competed in National Sweetheart, which is where I won that national title. So yeah, started in Oklahoma, went to Arkansas, back to Oklahoma, and then finished at a national pageant. So it was great. Yeah, so I had heard so many good things about the Sweetheart system. It has been around for many, many, many years, and its legacy speaks for itself. So I knew that it was a great system to be a part of. So I was actually aging out of the Miss Oklahoma system this year. So I knew that this would be my last year competing. And so I knew I wanted to continue to compete in some way. And I thought, what better way to do that than to compete at a national pageant? One that I knew was about making sure that young women feel empowered while also giving us an opportunity to make friends from all across the country and providing scholarship money. So I thought it would be a perfect way to just wrap up my pageant journey, and it really was. Right. So I have considered competing in the Miss USA system. I really don't know as of right now what I want to do. My life has been so busy the last week, which is so busy at National Sweetheart, and I had some things happening at home at the same time. And so now that I'm home, I kind of just want to take a break and sleep for like a month and eat all the good food that I want to eat and just relax. So I don't know. I've considered it, but right now we're just taking a break. I think the main goal is first there's several goals, but I think the main goal really their focus is on their contestants. They care so much about the experience that the contestants have. At the end of the day, pageantry is a competition, and you can get into a pageant and it can get very hard, very tiring. It's exhausting. But National Sweetheart allows contestants to come in and truly have an incredible experience. It's about the experience. When I won the title, I told the girls that this was our crown. It wasn't just my crown, it was our crown because we had all done it. We had all put in the work. We had all been there and made the sacrifices to get to that point. And so I think the main goal of Sweetheart is just making sure their focus is on the contestants. And it's hard to find that in other systems. And it's just something that's truly special. Yeah, so you get scholarship money, just very similar to the Miss America organization. You're awarded scholarship money. So every time your name is called for an award, that's scholarship money. And so it was a great blessing. I not only won the title as in all the scholarship, both like cash scholarships and in-kind scholarships where people donate their products or services to as an award for you. And then I tied for overall interview with Miss District of Columbia. So that was really neat. So that was cash scholarship. and then as well as the Leanza Award, which is the award that the pageant gave, and again, cash scholarship. So it's amazing. You know, every time your name's called, you know that's scholarship money to help further your education. Yeah, so I actually have a friend who is Miss Tennessee volunteer, and then the young woman who placed first runner up to me at National Sweetheart, she has competed in Miss Tennessee volunteer. So that is about the extent I know of the system. I haven't got an opportunity to really look into it at all, but I do know a few girls that are a part of it and they love it. So it'll be really interesting to see how that pageant system grows and how it evolves over the years. It's exciting. Yeah, it would be really exciting because it is a really wonderful organization. I cannot say enough good things about National Sweetheart. So I wish them all the best for sure. Yes, so yeah, we did talent. So the format of the Miss National Sweetheart is very similar to what Miss America used to be. So we do private interview, on-stage question, swimsuit, talent, and evening gown. And so my talent is dance. I'm a dancer. So I danced to Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody, but it was the a cappella version. So it was just her voice. And then it had a few like drum beats in it. So it was really fun. It's really exciting and it was different. So it was a blast to get to go and do my talent on the National Sweetheart stage. Yes, for sure. I wish I could sing. I was actually talking to someone the other day, who's also a dancer, and I asked her, you know, if you could dance, what would you do? And she said, not sing. And I said, me either, because I can't. I can't sing. I would have to learn to play the piano or something really quickly. But because that is my, you know, I like to think I'm talented. I like to paint. I like to do other things, but dance is my area of expertise. And dance is what I stick to. I wish I could sing, but I'll save that for when I'm alone in the car. Oh, that's a great question. You know, I think a large part of it was I went in truly to have a good time. I knew, like I said, it is a competition, but I wanted to make new friends. I wanted to feel confident in every area of competition. I wanted to have fun. And that's what I did. So I went in as myself. I took a lot of pressure off that if I won, then that was wonderful. And if I didn't, that was okay too. And so I think what helped me to win is that I went in just being myself from the moment that my plane landed to the moment that the crown was placed on my head. I was just 100% myself. And I ended up again making amazing friends, having a great time. I did everything I wanted to do, and then won, which was so exciting. So I think that's what helped me is just kind of remembering that, of course, it's a competition, but it was about having fun and being myself. So I've watched the video a lot of times because it's on video of me being crowned, and it was one of those moments where you know you're standing there and it's you and one other girl, and you hope it's you, but you're trying to listen and see what they're going to say, and you're looking at that other person, holding hands with them, and there's just so many thoughts going through your head. So my first reaction was, did they really say Oklahoma? Was that, did I hear it right? You know, I don't want to make a mistake and think they said it and they didn't. Um, and so once it clicked that yes, they said Oklahoma and that was me, my first reaction was really just gratitude. I was so grateful. And I think one of the best parts about going back and watching the video of me being crowned is watching all of the other girls behind me and watching their reactions. And you know, like Miss Alaska was crying, and Miss New Mexico was cheering, and Ohio, and Illinois, and Colorado, and you know, everyone was just excited, just as excited as I was. And so the crown was placed on my head, and I got to go back and hug all of them. And that's when I told them that this was, I feel like we all did it. Of course, you know, at the end of the day, there can only be one winner. And I'm so grateful that that was me. But I felt like we all did it because those girls poured into me during the week, and were such good friends and so kind and so funny, that I felt like we all deserved a crown. And so, you know, my first reaction, of course, was shock and then just extreme gratitude. I was so grateful. You know, I Something I told someone just the other day was, you can never count anyone out. So, you show up to a competition and you may look around, you want to see who's there. You may think, oh, she's a good singer, or she is a great piano player, or she's a good dancer. And you may see some where you're like, okay, I think I can do just as well as her. But it's important not to count anybody out, because the second you think, okay, I can beat her and I can beat her, I can beat her, is the second that girl's going to come up and she's going to be the one that beats you. So I think it's important to be humble from the very beginning, to keep the mindset that you still, even though you're there and you're prepared, you still have to work for it. You still have to go on that stage and be in the right mindset every time you step onto stage. Because if you're not, that's when someone else is going to sneak up who is in the right mindset, and they're going to go and get the crown. So for me, I felt confident in all the work I had done, because I put in so much work to get there. So I felt confident that I could do it, but I didn't think that I had won it until I did.
And you are a beauty inner and inside and outside.
Oh,
You shine on the screen. It's very interesting. I have
oh,
interviewed older or former Miss America. She have not this beauty. This
what
outside. Yes, you are so happy to win this crown. You are so happy to represent United States for
yes,
this year of
right,
service. We have 1 year of service.
right.
And during this 1 year, what is your focus advocacy?
I think my focus is, since I've started pageantry, has been about mental health. That's been my platform. That's been my social impact. No matter what you call it, different pageant systems call it different things. It really doesn't matter. What matters is what's at the heart of it, and at the heart of it for me is about mental health. So I've had an incredible opportunity through my years of competing to speak with all sorts of different people, whether that be children in schools, elderly in nursing homes, legislative members, government officials, teachers, counseling centers, everybody, anybody that'll listen, about the importance of being not only physically healthy, but mentally healthy as well, especially coming out of the year 2020. It's crazy that we're already almost in 2022, but just 2020 was such a tough year for people all around the world, not just in this country, not just in one singular country, in every country. 2020 was a tough year, and so people's mental health really struggled. And now more than ever, it's needed to be discussed, in an open and an honest way, so that people know that they're not alone.
You have the same platform like Miss South Africa 2020.
Okay, yeah.
I have an advice for you. Read the book of Miss South Africa. She have written a book for children.
Okay.
About, and it's the project for Miss Beauty, for Miss World Beauty with a Purpose. She have written a book, a children's book about mental health to educate children about this illness.
Right.
I think it's very important, it's primordial, it's essential to educate children about mental health.
Yes, very much so. And some people may think that children, especially when you bring up heavy words like depression or anxiety, they think children don't understand. But I think it's more about altering how you talk to them, because children are curious and they do have feelings. They do feel sad. They do feel anxious, even if they can't say that. So it's been one of my favorite groups is children to talk to, because they are so eager to listen and so eager to learn. And they're so eager to help. And so, a lot of times it's reminding them not only what they can do for themselves, but what they can do for others as well. For me, and that's kind of, I touched on this earlier, I really just need a rest. I need to take a little break. So I think the next big thing happening in my life is right before I left for National Sweet Summer, literally the day before, I left on a Wednesday, that Tuesday night, I was finishing up auditions for the NBA Oklahoma City Thunder's dance team. Yeah, so I found out while I was in Illinois that I made the Oklahoma City Thunder Girls dance team. So I'm now a professional dancer for the NBA, for the National Basketball Association. So it's really exciting to get to now shift gears and get to do that. And so we just had a meeting yesterday, and then we have our training camp on Sunday. And then, when basketball season starts, I'll be there at the arena in Oklahoma City cheering on the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I think that's the next big thing. I know that's not pageant related, but it'll take up a lot of time. So that's my next focus.
And your next focus, your next project, like title of the Miss National Sweetheart is?
Question mark. To be determined. Like I said, I really don't know. This has been such a long time coming, and it was a huge blessing. And so it's now just kind of catching my breath and seeing what my options are. That's another thing is I have to explore the options. And I touched on volunteer. There's not a lot that I know about it. So it'll be learning, I think, what I can do, and then in the meantime taking some rest. Yeah, I think it's super important to be on top of everything and to stay organized. So for me, I literally color code everything. So I have a planner, and I was just writing with one a second ago. I have like 12 different colored pens, and different colors mean different things. The pink is for pageant, the black is personal, the blue is for family, the purple's for work. So I will write everything down, and I think that's one of the best ways is when you write it down, you can see it. You can think about it, it's right there in front of you so that you don't forget. So that's how I do it, is I write everything down. And I think there's something so satisfying about checking off things on a to-do list. So if I have a busier day where I have work and pageants and dance stuff and, everything's overlapping, I will make a to-do list. And so as I complete each project, I'll check them off, because it's very satisfying to think, wow, look at all this work that I've done today. So even the simple things like, take the dogs outside or take the dogs for a walk, I write that on my to-do list too, just so I can cross it off. So writing everything down.
I have the same, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Red is for the interview, blue for the video,
right,
and green for podcast.
That's the best way. That way you can keep track of everything.
Yes, and we have in this moment we have two investigation about scam in pageantry, and we have a lot of work, and I note a lot of appointment for this report in black.
Yes, there you go. I think I think it's different for everybody. I think beauty looks different on everyone, and people would define it differently. So I think my definition of beauty is what's in the person's heart. It's very easy to kind of draw an opinion about someone and decide, in a moment whether or not that person is beautiful based off of what's in their heart. Having a conversation like you and I are, you are quickly able to realize someone's true beauty because you were able to see what they care about, what they like, maybe even what they don't like. So for me, my personal definition of beauty is someone's heart. What does their heart look like? Because that is what's going to make them beautiful. There's no amount of makeup, no amount of hairstyling, no amount of cosmetic. There's nothing that can hide a heart that isn't in the right place. And so that's something that I always try to do with everything that I go into, including competing in Miss National Sweetheart. I wanted to make sure that my heart was in it, because if my heart wasn't in it, my beauty wasn't going to shine. So I had in my heart, again, that of course I wanted to win. That was my goal. But no matter what happened, I knew my secondary goals, and I knew I was going to achieve those. And I knew that in my heart. And that allowed me to really show who I am. And therefore I came across, hopefully at least I came across as beautiful. Yeah, it's interesting. I sometimes forget, especially because I was on a dance team in college and I was captain and then competed in pageants and did well, and then National Sweetheart and did well, and then now a professional dancer. And so I forget just how much people watch what I do. And so while I think, oh, I hope I'm making an impact and I hope I'm being a positive influence, I sometimes forget that I even have that power or that platform. And so for me, um, I look at it kind of two ways. One, it can be really easy to become overly confident or maybe even arrogant. And so that is one thing that I've tried to never do is I want to be relatable to everybody. So when I went to National Sweetheart, there were many girls who came up to me and said, I've watched you compete for years. I'm such a big fan of yours. I'm so excited to meet you. And I always laughed and just told them, well, I'm just Ashley. Like, you're just going to meet Ashley. I'm the same girl as I am on stage, but you're not going to see me not talking to anybody or having certain things I have to do before the pageant. I'm still going to be myself. So for me, I think it's super important as a role model to remember to be relatable and not put yourself above anyone else and be like everyone else. Because I have that mindset, it's not too hard for me at all. As far as social media and people that follow me, I always want to portray my best self. And so, but that's been forever. I never want to put anything out there that is going to be hurtful to myself or to anyone else. I never want to put anything that is going to make people upset. So I try to be mindful of what I'm posting. And so I love it. I love having a platform to reach people because again, I can reach them as just Ashley and hopefully, make some friends along the way and so it's really nice when people come and say, I've watched you, I'm such a big fan, but then I always just tell them, well, I'm just Ashley. So it's nice to meet you. Oh, you'll find out all kinds of stuff. That's the quickest way to get to know me. I think first you're going to see the pageant side of my life. That's what a lot of it is. And hopefully you see it in a very relatable way. I never want to be someone that people can't relate to or that they can't envision themselves as doing the same things I'm doing. Because of course, what I'm doing is special, but I'm not doing anything anybody else couldn't do. And so I think you're going to see the pageant side of my life, hopefully in a relatable way. You'll see the dance side now as a professional dancer. There'll be all kinds of pictures at basketball games. And then I think you'll see just me. I think you'll also see the work that I've done for mental health. So that's highlighted on there quite a bit. And then again, I think you'll just see me and what I like to do. And I like to hike. I like to go outside, be outdoors. So you'll see a lot of that. I like to travel. Especially when it was much safer to do so. If you scroll back a little bit, back to like 2019, you'll see lots of traveling and experiencing things. I went skydiving recently, about a year ago, actually. So you'll see that. So you'll really just see me, just for me. Okay, so when the shutdown first happened here in the United States in March of 2020, I was right before Miss Oklahoma. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have now more time to prepare. And when things get better, we'll have Miss Oklahoma in just a few months. And I will be prepared because I can't go anywhere. So I'll get to stay home and prepare. And then as it got closer, we realized it wasn't going to happen at all. And so it was kind of a blow because you prepare so much and then to find out it's not going to happen for an entire year. It's a long time in pageant world. That is a long time. And so there was a lot of questions. There was a lot of confusion. Especially for girls that were aging out, will they get to still compete? Some girls, had plans to start their careers. So some girls didn't want to wait. They wanted to just give up their titles. And there was a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety. Everyone was getting nervous because no one knew what would happen. But I think once I kind of settled into the fact that I did have now an additional year to prepare, I tried to do two things. One, I tried to use that time to prepare. And two, I also tried to use that time to figure out kind of who I was because I was getting now a year older. So I'd be going to Miss Oklahoma an entire year older. And I knew that then it would then be my last year. And so I wanted to figure out who I was outside of pageants because it can be so easy to get caught up in, the pageant world but there's more to life at the end of the day. And so pageants are fun and they're exciting and it's a sport that is very competitive. But unfortunately, eventually it does end. At least, each system has its time. And so I knew that this system was ending for me. So I used the pandemic and the shutdown to kind of just make sure that I was prepared physically and mentally and emotionally to go and compete. And then that translated over into National Sweetheart. So I was already in that headspace of competing. So then I was able to just pick up and fly to Illinois and compete there as well. Yeah, well, the pandemic was, the shutdown was hard. It gave, I think, a lot of pageant girls time to really focus in on what they wanted to do for that pageant year. I think I learned to give myself grace because I can be so hard on myself and I want things to be perfect. I want things to be done a certain way, and perfect is not reality. And sometimes if something doesn't go the way you originally planned, sometimes it works out for something better. For instance, in my mind, I was going to win Miss Oklahoma and go on to Miss America, and it didn't work out that way. But I had something better, which was winning Miss National Sweetheart. So I think I learned to just relax and take a deep breath and know that it's all going to work out, and it's important to be flexible and allow myself room to grow, because when you're so hard on yourself and you're so tight and so stern and so set, you can't grow. So allowing myself to relax, let go, and to grow. Oh, 10 years. So 10 years from now, I will be 34, about to turn 35 in 10 years. I will have liked to have gone back to school to get my master's and then hopefully my doctorate as well and be a sports psychologist. So I would like to work for a professional team of any sport, basketball, American football, soccer, no matter what it may be, any sport. And I would hopefully have been doing that for a few years, maybe owning my own business in some form of pageantry, whether that be being like an interview coach or just being a coach in general, maybe being a director of a pageant. So I'd still like to be involved in pageantry in some way, but then hopefully further along in my career as a sports psychologist. Yeah, no, I don't think that I am. I think, while that would be exciting and, a great opportunity, I think each system has kind of as far as it goes. And so, you can only go so far in each system, and National Sweetheart, that's as far as you can go. And that's the icing on the cake. And so it really was icing on the cake for me. So while it would be amazing, I think, to compete internationally, I'm really happy with how it worked out. I would have to say no. I love it. I do. And I've been blessed to be good at it. But I think at a certain point, like I said, I really like to further my education and get my doctorate, getting my master's first. And so that would be a few years. And so I would like to take some time to do that. And I'd really like to focus on that, which would require me personally. I know a lot of girls, in fact, there were several girls at National Sweetheart who are in their master's program or already have their master's. So for some people it works to do school and compete. For me, I don't think it would. And so I don't know. Maybe if I were to take some time away, I would miss it so much that I would have to get back involved. And so we'll see. Ask me in like a year or two, come back, we'll do another interview, and I'll let you know where I'm at. Oh, that is hard. That is hard. So I've been asked this question in an interview several times. Um, Man, that's hard. I really love Jane Giroux, a former Miss America. Um, and there's a funny story there. So when I first met her, was at a local pageant here in Oklahoma, and she was a former Miss Oklahoma before becoming Miss America. And I was in the car with my mom. I was young, like 10, maybe 12. And we were driving across the parking lot and we were leaving, and she was walking to her car. And my mom said, "That's Jane Giroux." So we stopped and she rolled down the window, and Mrs. Jane walked up, and my mom was saying hello, and she went to introduce me, and she completely forgot my name, couldn't even remember my name because she was so excited to be seeing Jane Giroux. And then years later, actually this past summer, I got the chance to visit with Jane Giroux again and speak to her and kind of relive that story with her. And she, of course, laughed and thought it was hilarious. And she's just so, I think she really embodies beauty, like we talked about, even years later when she's far removed from competing in pageants. She's still so beautiful because each person she talks to, she really gives them her time and attention. And she really is interested in learning about them or hearing what that person has to say. And I think that's really beautiful. So she would probably be one of my favorites. I also love Erica Dunlap, another former Miss America, and I jokingly say all the time she was on the TV show The Amazing Race, which is a contest of a race around the world, and her husband were on the show. So I don't know if I like her. It was my favorite show, so I don't know if I like her as Miss America or if I like her as the reality TV contestant. But those two are really special, and there's so many that I've even been blessed to get to meet. Which is special. So probably all the ones I've ever met, but those two really stand out. Oh man. Okay, so I have several. So I think my first guilty pleasure right off the bat is Thai food. I really like pad Thai. I could eat noodles and pad Thai every day, every day. So when I'm trying to prepare for swimsuit or prepare for a competition, I have to give up all those noodles, all of those carbs and fat, and all of that. But my guilty pleasure would probably be pad Thai. As far as my guilty pleasure outside of food, I really love to just watch Netflix, and I'm a binge watcher. When I watch something, I watch hours of it. So I really have to dedicate the time to indulge in that guilty pleasure because I will spend a lot of time doing it. So those are probably my two: Thai food and just hanging out in my room and watching Netflix.
What is your favorite, all-time favorite movie?
Oh.
Or series TV?
Okay, so movie right off the bat, Titanic. So I had the chance to go to Branson, Missouri, where they had the Titanic Museum, and at the time it was like the 20th anniversary of the movie with Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, and they had their costumes in the museum. So I thought that was so cool to get to see the costumes that those famous actors and actress wore in the movie. So Titanic is my favorite movie. My favorite TV show, oh, that's tough. I really like reality TV, so I like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. The Amazing Race is no longer on. COVID kind of took that out, so I loved The Amazing Race. I like talent shows like America's Got Talent, The Voice, American Idol, shows like that. But I really like just guilty pleasure TV, such as The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. It's so much drama, but it's so nice to just forget about your own drama and watch someone else have drama.
In France, because I live in France 6 months and in United States 6 months, but in France we have no The Bachelor.
Really?
No, we have two seasons of Bachelor and it's a end.
Okay, yeah, no, it's good. When you come back to the United States, hopefully it'll be on so you can watch.
For the series like NCIS, CSI, or a lot of series, we have 6 months too late. We watch this series 6 months too late, than United States.
Really?
Yes.
So it's after?
After, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. For Netflix, we have the same program.
Really? Okay, so different.
Different. Not all, but for example, for the US circle, we have 2 months too late. After.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's so interesting. Learn something new every day.
But we have a great series before you, Downton Abbey and Lupin.
Oh, I love Downton Abbey. My mom is actually, she wasn't waiting for me. She's in the other room, so I wonder if she can hear me. She'll come in here and Downton Abbey. She loves Downton Abbey. I've seen a few episodes, and I've enjoyed them, but my mom has seen every single episode. Oh man, that's really hard. I think something that people overlook when they think about like somebody to look up to or a role model or an idol is themselves. I think you should be, your biggest role model, because you should be what you want to see in the world. So for me, I think it's myself. I think it's remembering my potential and remembering what I have to offer and making sure that I show up every day being my very best self. So I think it's important, it's easy to look at other people and try to, and that's okay too, to draw inspiration from other people. But you have to remember just how much potential and how much power and how much change that you have within yourself. My family. It really would be my family, because I have such big dreams and goals and ideas and things I want to do. And so, like, for National Sweetheart, my aunt and my mom and my uncle made a road trip out of it and drove, I think it was like 13, 14 hours drive maybe for them. So they drove to the pageant to come and watch me and support me and be there for me. And my mom was crying when I won. My aunt was crying. My uncle was so excited. And so I really think it's my family, just because they support me in everything I decide to do, and they're willing to be there for me when I need them, which I think is so important. So definitely my family. I'm so thankful for them. Um, I have like few things that I can cook really, really well. I'll say this. I'll say yes. I'll say yes, because I'm really good at not measuring, but yet something still turns out great. So especially like in baking, everything is measurements. But I'm really good at eyeballing, so I can say, okay, that was a cup, or this was a third of a cup. So I'll say I'm really good. I have this weird skill to know exactly how much I'm measuring without measuring. But I really don't like to cook a whole lot. I prefer convenience. So I'd much rather go up to the Thai restaurant and get pad Thai. But I'm good at cooking, but I just don't do it a whole lot. I'm I love to read, so I don't think I can choose just one. I'm currently reading a book right now called Homegoing, I think is what it's called. And my dad is from West Africa, and so it's about two sisters in a West African village that actually get separated, and so their lives. It's about their lives and kind of how they go two separate directions. One ends up marrying a very successful American man, and it's about her lineage of her children. Well, another is still there and ends up marrying a member of their village, and her life is stays there, and while the other one's descendants end up coming to America. So it's really just interesting, and it's cool because, again, my dad's from West Africa, and so it's very realistic and uses the proper language and names of different tribes. So it's really kind of neat to kind of pretend it's a fiction book, but it's neat to pretend that it's real and just imagine. But I love to read, so right now that would probably be my favorite, just because it is a part of my dad's culture. But I'll read anything. I love The only thing I don't really like is like sci-fi, like science fiction. It's hard for me to imagine like life beyond Earth. So I like to read things that I can imagine are real. And so I really enjoy anything. But I'm really enjoying this book called Homegoing. Oh, I think it's to make an impact, to be someone that helps other people. And that may sound very cliche, but I think it really is to be someone that people can rely on, and people can know um, that I'm a safe place for them. And so I think that's why I've chosen my degree in psychology, and then my desire to get my doctorate in sports psychology, because I was an athlete for so many years, and then I love psychology. And so I think it's really just knowing, or just being that person that people can go to, and making a positive difference on people's lives. And it's been really neat because I know that I've already done that because I've had people tell me that. So I want to just continue in that. Uh, I think my message would be to not let setbacks hold you back, especially in pageantry. There are a lot of times where you may face a setback. It may be as small as you don't get to wear the evening gown you wanted to wear, or it may be as big as, you know, you went to a national competition and you thought you were going to win and you don't. Setbacks look like all sorts of different things, but I think the most important thing is to not let it hold you back. For example, again, I touched on this earlier. I wanted to win the title of Miss Oklahoma and go to Miss America. I didn't. That was a setback. I didn't let that hold me back. I competed at a national pageant and won. And so I think if anything, it would be to allow yourself time. It's okay to be sad. You know, you go into a pageant and you think I'm going to win, and then you don't, and it's sad, and that's okay. But allow yourself the time to process that and then get back up and try again. It would really just be, don't let setbacks hold you back. My second thing, though, if I had to add another, would be to understand why you're doing it. No matter the system, no matter if it's a scholarship pageant, a beauty pageant, a natural pageant, a glitz pageant, whatever it is, know why you're doing it. Because if your why isn't significant to you, you're not going to be successful. You can try, but if you don't have your why of why you want to do it, why you want to win, why you want to do well in the pageant, it's just going to be a waste of time. So no, one, don't let setbacks hold you back, and two, know why you're doing it and make sure your heart's in the right place.